Welkom back to Eindelijk Let's Connect hier op SABC2, jou lekker mense. En so gepraat van lekker mense, I'm joined by Trisha Moodley today. Now she's the founder of TM Counseling to look at what really happens at home when a family member gets sick and how it affects everyone around them. Trisha, welcome to the show. And
Thank you.
I think it's crazy when one person gets sick. Why does it feel like just when one person gets sick in the household, everybody just falls apart, and
Absolutely.
the whole system is now not stable anymore?
Yes, Manrico. That's usually the case, and we see that a lot as well in our counseling sessions, where it's the load is carried usually by one member of the family, and that's the primary caregiver. And when that happens, it's actually like a default role, where the mom in this case would get burdened with everything in the home, and that heaviness, reliance on one person, is usually going to collapse the family system if that's the case in that home.
And it's so waar. And I'm thinking like, in my personal capacity, right now that my partner is sick, and it feels like you don't know what to do. Must you focus more at work, and now you're worried more at home? Why does it feel like everything is always on mom?
Yes, so again, the default roles naturally would fall on the mom.
Yeah.
And if you are confused and not sure what to do, the idea then would be, what is our roles and functions as members of this family?
Yeah.
It's not about mom, it's about the family system. And that's what we find in family therapy, to keep the family system happy and healthy, so that it's not a heaviness on one member of the family.
Is that how you avoid burnout? Because I believe that there's many ways to look at it, because you can also start having conflict because the child is sick this one week and the other child is sick, depending on how many children you have at home as well.
Yes, true.
And then you get to a place where you guys are constantly fighting just because the kids are sick, I just want to avoid burnout and get that mental balances.
Yes, the burnout comes from mental load.
Yeah.
And the load itself, when you unpack that phrase and that word, shows that there's unspoken needs and unspoken communication. And when one person is carrying everything silently, it's a barrier where the partner, in this case you now, would not really know what your partner needs to unburden herself and to help the family.
Yeah.
So the important thing there would be not to get to burnout, would be to speak about what the needs are for the family system, and understanding that it's not really one member helping another, but you actually need a shared responsibility for the family unit.
It's easier said than done.
Yes.
Some partners want to do a lot of things,
True.
They want to do everything. So I think at the end of the day, getting that shared responsibility is another thing, but that probably comes through communication. But now let's just say, for instance, now your partner is now sick. Now one of your children becomes sick. How do you set boundaries without having that guilty feeling, because now you are not giving as much care because you're trying to also go to work the next day?
Yeah, so that's a big word you use there, is guilt.
Yeah.
And the other big word is boundaries.
Yes.
And guilt normally comes from where we feel torn and stretched to try and please everybody and meet all the requirements and needs for everyone that day. Boundaries is where there's a protectiveness here. It's not selfish to set boundaries, and it's actually there to protect ourselves and the family. So you prioritize, and you look at absolutely what needs to get done for that day. That's non-negotiable. And then through that prioritization, over time, so even if in that moment work substantially needs to suffer for that day because the child needs to go to school, so you're late for work, you'd find that that's not going to happen all the time. And so because it's not happening over long term, the guilt will start to wane.
Now, how does that dynamic actually change from parent versus child? Is it the same, or does it change a lot from that point of view?
So there is a change. It is different. We find mostly, and naturally so, that when the child gets sick, everybody knows what to do and everyone mobilizes to quickly circumvent that moment and make sure that the child is getting the care and the medical attention, and the teacher gets informed. But when the parent gets sick, the family structure seems to glitch, right? And that happens because there's usually the one person holding a lot in the home, and so all the members feel it.
Okay. And that main character energy. So we touched a little bit about it, but like, is there practical steps that one can do that shared responsibility without stepping on toes?
Absolutely, absolutely. The practical would be, firstly, to communicate, not assume.
Yeah.
So you ask, because you're not a mind reader.
Yes.
And as you mentioned earlier, that the one person would handle it like it's a superpower.
Yeah, like Alicia Keys song.
So we want to have an open communication and say, what are the needs? Tell me, how can I lift this practically for you? So it would be something like making sure there's dinner available, or groceries are picked up, kids are taken to school, communications happen with school and home, and also letting your partner's boss know that your partner's sick, for example, if she's working. So it is handling, that's the practical stuff. And the emotional and the mental stuff would be, hey, I got you, we got you. We're going to get through this day. And if you rock up at work and you're there, to WhatsApp a check-in, just to check in with your partner and say, hey, sweetie, how are you doing? Is everything okay? Should I bring something on my way home?
Yes.
Those little things from a practical point of view helps practically and emotionally, just to have you showing her that you've got her back.
Yeah, because it also affects the person at work as well, because you just want that person to pick that phone up.
Yes.
And that helps you so much. And thank you very much for putting, just the practical steps in there, because it sounds very crazy when you just think of, what am I going to do if you are not the main character at home, and then you have to step in. But, they say many hands make light work as well.
Totally.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the insights as well. And after the break, Penny joins us, and she's chatting with Pieter van Niekerk from the Guide Dog Association. Die man is hier met die laaste hond. Ons gaan vir jou meer vertel oor dit volgende, net hierna.